it off from food, fuel and other essential supplies in retaliation for the bloodiest attack on the country in decades. For its part, Hamas issued a chilling threat that it will execute a hostage every time Israel targets civilians in Gaza without warning. Some Palestinian fighters remain holed up in several locations, but the Israeli military says it's largely regained control in its southern towns after the surprise multi-pronged assault. Israel puts the death toll from the attacks at approximately 900. Gaza officials say almost 700 Palestinians have been killed. Thousands more have been injured on both sides. More rockets have been fired from Gaza, and Israel is again responding with airstrikes on Palestinian targets into another night. Tens of thousands of people have been left homeless as buildings are levelled. Israel continues to mobilise its military. It's calling up to 300,000 reservists in a sign it could be planning a ground assault.
The atrocities committed by Hamas have not been seen since ISIS atrocities. Bound children executed along with their families. Young men and women shot in the back, executed. We have always known who Hamas is. Now the entire world knows Hamas is ISIS, and we will defeat it. This vile enemy wanted war, and it will get war.
Footage has emerged showing the aftermath of the massacre by Hamas gunmen at the Supernova Festival in southern Israel. At least 260 bodies have been recovered from the site. Hamas and other militant groups say they're holding up to 130 captives in Gaza. The family of 85-year-old Yafa Adar is concerned for her welfare after she was seen driven off in a golf cart by militants.
I'm sure she's very scared. And I'm sure she feels very alone. And that's not a way to live when you're 85. Been taken away from your bed, from your house. That's not a way to suffer this trauma, this pain.
Israel has ordered a complete siege on Gaza, blocking off food and fuel. The United Nations says more than 123,000 people have been displaced by Israel's retaliation. Amongst what's left of his home, this resident says he'll never leave.
I'm not the only one left out on the street. There are 17 families in this area following this barbaric strike. Now they are destroying homes over the heads of its residents during their sleep, without any warning or reason, with the aim to displace and destroy and to uproot them from this land. However, we refuse to be uprooted. We have firm roots in this land.
Eliminate Hamas's ability to launch an attack like the one we saw on the weekend. It says that it's aiming for Hamas targets, but certainly a great number of civilians have been caught up in this. We've seen buildings come down with many people trapped underneath the rubble, including parents who've had to try to rescue their children from under the debris, bundle them up and take them for burial. So some quite confronting scenes coming from Gaza. Now, Hamas says that Israel has stopped its previous policy of warning civilians when it's going to bring down a building like we've seen. And it says that until Israel restarts that process, until it starts warning people again that their civilian infrastructure could be targeted, it is going to kill a hostage, an Israeli hostage that it captured over the weekend. It says it'll kill one Israeli hostage for every time civilians don't get a warning. Now, Israel is also trying to ratchet up the pressure on Gaza. There's already a blockade on Gaza, a very strict one, and strict rules about what can come in and out. But now Israel says that there will be a complete blockade of the Gaza Strip. So that includes things like electricity, fuel, food, water, and medicine. Now that will have a profound impact, certainly on the civilian population in Gaza. But Israel says it's also designed to starve Hamas of the resources it needs and put pressure on that regime. Nonetheless, we've seen today that Hamas retains the ability to strike fear into the Israeli civilian population. We were down in Ashkelon, about 12 kilometres from the Gaza border, and we just got out of the car when we saw another surprise attack from Hamas. Well, that was a huge rocket attack. We saw a massive volley of rockets come over from Gaza. Those bangs you can hear now, that's the Iron Dome, which is shooting most of them into the sky. But they are everywhere, and this is obviously a strategy of Hamas. Every moment that Israelis here think that the threat level has gone, they launch another huge volley of rockets. We were down in Ashkelon because that's where some of the survivors of the weekend's terror attacks have been taken to get medical treatment. We went to the hospital there and we met a man named Raz Cohen. Now, he is one of the survivors of that music festival that was infiltrated by Hamas terrorists. They shot many of the festival goers. They took some of them over the border into Gaza. And Raz told us that first he and some of his friends, they hid initially under a stage, and then they made for a run for it, and they hid in a riverbed where they tried to stay out of harm's way.
We go to the river because they can't see us there, but it's near to Gaza. It's very near to Gaza, so if someone see us there, they not murder us, they will kidnap us. And if you ask me, I prefer to die and not to kidnap to Gaza.
And Raz says he and his friend had to lie in that riverbed seeking shelter, but they could see in the distance Hamas militants shooting people, stabbing them, grabbing women and sexually assaulting them. And he says that he didn't have a weapon, so he felt he couldn't do anything to help. And he says that filled him with a sense of utter powerlessness.